As we mentioned earlier, Donald Trump made another big announcement today. He has selected Tulsi Gabbard, former Democratic Congresswoman, as his Director of National Intelligence. Now, in that role, she would have quite a responsibility. She would oversee 18 separate spy agencies. I think we might have too many spy agencies. We might, just saying. She would also assemble the president's daily brief, which is an intelligence summary given to the president every morning. Now look, there were all sorts of reports in his first administration about how uninterested he was in these daily briefings. I'll give you a little taste from the New York Times. In his first administration, Trump did not often read the written summary, but he held in-person intelligence briefings, often twice a week or more, engaging his briefers on world affairs, at least on topics that interested him. Okay, that's good. I mean, at least he did that. So we'll see how things play out in his second term. Now, since the 2020 primaries, Gabbard has made a full 180 to the right. She started off on the left as a Democrat, then she transitioned to an independent, and now she is a Republican and Trump loyalist. She served in the military.
So here we are today on the Young Turks, and Ana Kasparian, as you can see, is commenting on Donald Trump's appointment of Tulsi Gabbard as Director of National Intelligence. Now, I don't know a lot about Tulsi Gabbard. I've seen her speak from time to time over the years. She seems pretty intelligent, pretty, straightforward. She seems to not be a complete party hack, for lack of a better word, or not an ideologue. At least that's the impression I get from her. Now, Ana Kasparian just mentioned that she used to be a Democrat, now she's a Republican. Well, who cares? I don't really care about that. People's views do evolve over time, and parties evolve, which is probably one of the reasons why she no longer wants to be part of the Democratic Party. Let's see what Ana Kasparian has to say about this as we look at the video some more.
So she does have some military experience, although she has minimal intelligence experience. Now, in the aftermath of the election, Gabbard stated that Trump's victory signals a rebuke of neoconservative war hawks, which is hilarious because that is not the case based on some of the Defense Department appointments he has already made. I mean, Marco Rubio is definitely a neocon, and he will be serving in the Trump administration in the State Department.
Yeah, I have to admit, I agree with Anna on this. I am concerned, despite the fact that I do not live in the United States. I live, as you know, if you've been watching my videos, I live in an as yet unnamed Western European country in the European Union. So, but the fact is that United States foreign policy and its warmongering policy it has an effect on the rest of the world, obviously, especially on the European Union and NATO. And I am very much against the neocons. I'm very much against the forever wars that have typified the American empire's policy for decades now. So yeah, some of his appointments are a bit concerning. Whether Tulsi Gabbard is one of these people, I don't think so, but who knows?
And let's learn a little bit more about what we can expect with Trump's new cabinet.
In the results of this election, we saw, of course, a vast majority of Americans placing their trust and confidence in President Trump, delivering a mandate and rejecting Kamala Harris's agenda of open borders, of censorship, of free speech, of freedom of religion, of crime in our communities, her agenda of continuing to wage stupid, costly, and unnecessary wars that are counterproductive to the interests of the American people, and instead embraced President Trump's vision and promise, rejecting the neocons and warmongers of Washington, promising to end wars and prevent World War III and nuclear war.
Interesting. Okay, what I love about Tulsi Gabbard, one of my favorite things about her is even with that monotone delivery, she somehow manages to convince people that she actually believes what she's saying and that she's
Now this is interesting. Did you notice how Ana Kasparian there, just as she was about to give make a little dig at Tulsi Gabbard, she rearranged her hair, took a couple seconds to do it, and then you know, made this little dig at Tulsi Gabbard about how she has a monotone delivery. No, Anna, I wouldn't say Tulsi Gabbard's delivery is monotone. You know, no, Anna, this is a monotone delivery. Of course, Tulsi Gabbard does not speak like this. She speaks like a normal person. Just not super animated, perhaps, but like a normal person. Yeah, just sort of a little interesting there. What, you know, you jealous or something, Anna? Maybe? I don't know. You know, maybe I'm reading too much into this, but let's keep going.
She's presenting herself authentically. Anyone, doesn't matter what side of the aisle you fall on, you should never take anything any public figure says at face value. That's
good point.
For sure. But especially Tulsi Gabbard, because she tends to present herself one way, and then you do a little bit of digging and you find out, oh wait, who she really is actually completely different from what she's presenting. And so she presents herself as, you know, a peace-loving individual, someone who doesn't want to engage in forever wars. Although she was definitely supportive of the war on terror. Not too long ago even said that she is against regime change wars, but was supportive of the war on terror. Oh, okay. And I remember doing a deep dive on Tulsi Gabbard. After the deep dive, she refused to allow me to interview her, even though she was scheduled for an interview with me and Cenk involved. So here's a little taste of the segment that she didn't like.
It would be misleading and unfair to my audience if I pretended there weren't some concerns for progressives. Most of the worries I personally have center on Tulsi's foreign policy views. While she's clear in her disdain for military intervention in the name of regime change, she is supportive of the war against terror. Think about how many interventions the US has found itself in since the Bush administration, all in the name of fighting terrorism, right?
Now notice that Ana Kasparian we're watching this older clip now from 2019, over 5 years ago. So her point here is to show that Tulsi Gabbard, yeah, she may not be a neocon, she may say she's against regime change, wars, but that she's fully in favor of the war on terror. Yeah, I guess 5 years ago she was. Now, I don't know what her position is now. People's views do evolve, Anna. After all, so do the party's views. Although it seems like certainly the Democrats have become the party of war. That seems evident. But let's hope that the new Trump administration does not become the party of war. And for the record, I am completely against, the war on terror, the whole American military-industrial complex is completely out of control. Obviously, it was out of control anyway. Even before 9/11, and then since then it's just ramped up to ridiculous proportions. So let's carry on with this clip.
So I'm not just talking about Iraq and Afghanistan. I'm talking about major military operations in Pakistan, Somalia, and Yemen, right? These were all done in the name of fighting terror. There have also been US-led coalition airstrikes in Mali, Syria, Libya, and West African airstrikes in Nigeria. Have those military actions ended global terrorism? Of course not. Tulsi's hawkishness toward terror has led her to support military actions I, along with many other progressives, disagree with. Torture tactics like waterboarding, which were given the euphemism of enhanced interrogations, was something that Tulsi was supportive of.
So look, I don't know how Tulsi plans to carry out her job. I don't know if she even has a say in regard to Donald Trump's foreign policy, or if she can convince him to engage or disengage with a potential conflict. What I do know is that I don't trust her. And what I also know is that, you look at Donald Trump's coalition of voters and it's mixed. There's certainly some Republican voters who probably agree with the hawkishness represented by the neocons and to some extent someone like Tulsi Gabbard. But what gives me a little bit of hope for this country's future and its foreign policy is that much like a faction on the left, there is a faction on the right that is serious about no longer engaging in these endless wars, no longer wasting our resources in being the international police. And I hope that their voices are loud enough to drown out the neocons within their ranks.
Well, I hope so too, Anna. So in this case, I am very much in agreement with Ana Kasparian on that, with that sentiment. You know, you can call it isolationist or America first or whatever you want to call it, nativist, whatever. But certainly, you know, that's the problem with when you're the empire, though. Sort of by definition, you're engaging in foreign wars all the time. That's what empires do, don't they? They engage in foreign conflicts. You know, for various reasons, to secure resources, to secure shipping, to secure their interests, the empire's interests. So as long as the military-industrial complex and their enablers in Congress are in power, or are still around, in fact, yeah, there's going to be a lot of people pushing for these forever wars and for the American empire and to continue spending ungodly amounts of money and expending ungodly resources on foreign wars and the so-called war on terror, you know, making making Americans safe at night, you know, dropping democracy bombs and all that kind of stuff, fomenting color revolutions and all the other nonsense that the American empire gets up to in all sorts of places around the world. I'm very much against all that. Let me know what you think, of course, as usual, in the comments. And in the meantime, like and subscribe. It really helps me grow the channel and continue making content for you.